anonymous agent survey on NFL offseason signings, one agent said all of a sudden the Buccaneers are good and the Patriots are bad, mostly because of Tom Brady leaving for Tampa. The agent said, quote, "I don't know that any single player ever had that dramatic of an impact in free agency." Shannon, I'm very intrigued. What do you think about this? Do you agree?
Skip, I agree because we saw Brady leave the Patriots, and I'm not sure they had a succession plan. Now, Coach Belichick might think they do. He might think Jared Steed is the guy that he wants to replace Brady. Skip, and then look, I think what's spoiled is that when you see San Francisco, they go from Montana to Steve Young. But Steve Young was the MVP even before Montana walked out the door. And we see the plan that Green Bay had in place. They drafted Aaron Rodgers. They sat him for 3 years. Favre goes out the door. Rodgers steps in. They don't miss a beat. But it's rarely that happens, Skip. You look at teams, and you look at the Marinos, and you look at the Elways, and these great quarterbacks, when they leave, yeah, you struggle. You take it on the chin. You look at the Steelers. They struggled until they basically got Big Ben. Yeah, they had a few years they had some success, but when you lose a quarterback that's been entrenched for basically 20 years and you don't have a follow-up plan, now we don't know what Steed's going to be, but Cam is like, why y'all talking? That's the elephant in the room.
Yeah, you just said that.
Yeah,
yep.
So Skip, for me, it is because we don't normally see this. We don't normally see a quarterback play this long, Skip. He normally say, you know what, I'm done. Boom. So not because we did see this with Peyton, even though they got luck, it took them going 2-14 the season that Peyton didn't play in order to get luck. And it lets them know that, man, if you don't really have a backup, it cost Bill Polian his job because it's like, you should have prepared for this. Well, here's a guy that's never missed a game. Skip, how do you prepare for a guy that comes to work every single day, every single year? How do you prepare for his absence? You can't. Just like Tom Brady. Tom Brady showed up to work with the exception of 2007, the 15 games, every single day, every single game. He was there. So how do you prepare for that? So for me, Skip, yeah, it's going to have a ripple effect because, yes, he makes Tampa better, but in the same breath, he took so much steam out of the room in New England.
So, timeout. Did I just hear what I think I just heard?
What?
I heard Shannon Sharpe co-sign and say that he agrees with something that was said very positively about Tom Brady. This is a first on Undisputed.
No, it's not.
I thought you would just shred this. I thought you would laugh at it. No?
Nah. I mean,
maybe you're seeing the light.
No, ain't no light, Skip. Yeah. But I mean, look, would I feel better if the guy had a little bit more pedigree? He had played like 3-4 years in college, and I had a big, like you say, sample size to see what he's done. Even if he's done something in the NFL.
You're talking about Steed.
It's Steed.
Yeah,
because Skip, we had saw Steve Young play. He had played playoff games for the 49ers, so we know, and he'd won the MVP, so there was no question. Now, would he ever be Joe Montana? No, he didn't need to be, but he was a damn good quarterback.
Oh, yeah.
We don't know what we get with, and then you're replacing that.
Okay, so the agent is saying, I don't know that any single player ever had the dramatic impact in free agency that Tom Brady just had. Right. Ever. Well, as I recall, I guess we could check the tape. I believe I told you that the first day it happened. This is unprecedented. Right. Everything seems unprecedented right now, but this is unprecedented.
Right.
Because he left a roster that is now being judged, ranked as middle of the pack for a team known as the Succaneers, who had the worst winning percent, still have the worst winning percentage in all of sports history. The Succaneers, who went 7-9 last year and missed the playoffs. Right. And all of a sudden, people are talking about Tampa Bay, as in Tampa Bay, as at least a Super Bowl contender.
Definitely playoff contender.
Maybe a long shot Super Bowl contender, but they have the 5th best odds to win the Super Bowl.
Right.
Not bad to come from 7-9.
Right.
Well, this guy's 43 years of age. So that's historical impact.
Correct.
And again, I have no idea what Belichick is thinking. I would give you and the bet that we have about who's going to have the better record between New England and Tampa a lot better shot if Cam Newton is the starting quarterback on day one. You know, then you got a shot.
Right.
because we're going to talk about this in a few minutes, he is going to play angry if he gets that shot. But I don't know what Belichick's thinking. Does he want a Cam package of plays? Does he want to use Cam as the stand-in? I have no idea. He seems to have a soft spot for Stid. He seems to have a plan that, oh, I found my new Brady this time in the 4th round. I got my new diamond in the rough. Jared Stidham from also Auburn University.
Well, we thought he had a soft spot for Brady because even though when Drew Bledsoe got healthy, he wouldn't give Drew Bledsoe that job back, even though Drew was campaigning for it behind the scenes. And Coach Belichick's like, nah, I'm going with him. So we thought he had a soft spot for Brady. And maybe it was soft in the beginning, but somehow, Skip, maybe he turned into the Grinch and it hardened.
Maybe.
Because for whatever reason, and I think, Skip, when you look at, go back to free agency started, if I'm not mistaken, in '93. Skip, when you look at it, we've never seen a quarterback leave like this. Not just walk out the door. I mean, you normally try to get some, unless he's injured. Now, we saw Drew Bledsoe walk out the door, but he was injured. Peyton Manning walked out the door, he was injured. Tom Brady, from all we have no indication that he was injured in any shape, form, or fashion.
Maybe a little banged up.
But wear and tear for being about to be 43. So we've never seen a quarterback just walk out the door. And and you got no compensation for it. Even the Packers traded Favre.
They did.
So normally that's what we see. So I'll agree, Skip, is that because him going to Tampa, and it gave Tampa a real hope. They're talking playoffs. The fans are actually talking playoffs. You hear the players.
Well, I think they're talking more than playoffs.
But consider they're going to start with that. Consider they hadn't been in the playoffs in such a long time. Before we catch a marlin, can we catch a bass first? Can we catch something small? Something that we know we can get to the shore. But yeah, I'll agree. I'll agree, Skip. It was a seismic shift because he weakened one and strengthened another.
Okay. In the end, we're going to see on the field. If Brady has declined the way you think he's declined, maybe he can't live up to the weapons around him. If Jared Stidham is a product of the genius of Bill Belichick, if suddenly he starts game 1 and starts to light it up the way Brady once did, then advantage Belichick, right?
Well, Coach Belichick going to get huge credit. They mess around and win the division without Tom Brady.
Especially if they did it with Jared Stidham. I mean, Cam is Cam. And he was just 5 years ago the MVP of the league. So Belichick wouldn't get as much credit for Cam Newton.
All right, listen up, guys, because according to one ranking, the Cowboys receivers group is actually more talented than the Chiefs. Interesting. We'll go there next.